It's Tuesday, March 28th, 2017, and it's time for another Dukes of Dice Daily. Welcome back, everyone. This is Sean from the Dukes of Dice podcast, and this is day 2 of our daily vlog. So we're 2 for 2, doing pretty good here. We're going to keep these short, like I said yesterday for the first one, and just going to kind of do a couple of different segments, and then at the end, we'll talk about our board game March Madness. So let's do just a very brief acquisition disorder segment. This is where I'm just going to kind of show you some of the games that I have acquired recently. This just came in today. It is Jump Drive. This is from Rio Grande Games. The reason I picked this up is because I will be reviewing this on the podcast with Tony McCree, episode 137, so about 2 weeks from now. He's from Rolling Dice and Taking Names. Fantastic podcast if you're not already listening to that. So Jump Drive is like Race for the Galaxy, but it's a little bit lighter. It is kind of an entry point for it. I don't know yet, because I haven't played it yet. I don't know if it's something that a Race for the Galaxy enthusiast is going to be really crazy about. But if it's an entry point into teaching someone Race for the Galaxy, that might be fantastic, because Race for the Galaxy is incredibly difficult to teach. There's tons of iconography. Once you get it, I mean, you could play this game quick. When you have a couple of players that know how to play it, boom, 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 it's fantastic. So just want to kind of show that off. The other thing I wanted to talk about today was a Kickstarter. This is Paladin Card Protection. This is from NSKN, and NSKN has published some board games like Praetor. They did Simurg and Versailles, a couple others. And this is for some premium sleeves. For gamers, by gamers is their tagline. You can see they've raised about $32,000 here, about 500 backers. This is going to end on April 13th, so about 15 days from this episode going up. And they've got a bunch of different sizes, so your kind of standard Euro, your standard American, etc., and some bigger sizes. And what's kind of cool is that these all come in packs of 55 instead of 50, because sometimes you're like, oh, I need 54 cards or 53 cards. So this is sleeves. So this is pretty cool. They provide some videos so you can kind of see how good they are, but it's kind of hard for me to gauge by videos. I kind of need to see them in front of me. And the reason that I say that is because you kind of have two different types of sleeves, two different ends of the spectrum, if you will. So on one hand, you have your Ultra Pros and your Fantasy Flight, which are really high quality, and you know that there's going to be a ton of consistency in terms of the cut. One sleeve is going to be cut and sized the same as the next. On the other hand, you have your Mayday game sleeves. There's two types there, the economy and the premium. The economy, you know you're just tossing out a ton of them because they're miscut or they're missized. They're too small, whatever, it doesn't work. The premiums are a little bit better, but with my experience, I've still had to kind of throw away some. So if I've got a pack of 50 premium sleeves, I may only be getting like 46 out of them. If I've got a pack of 100 of the economy sleeves, I may only be getting really 85, 90 of them, somewhere in there. So I'm hesitant to jump in on this without really knowing exactly how consistent the cut's going to be. Of course, they're saying that, it's going to be consistent. They show you the videos, but is that, I don't know. But let's look at some of the pledge levels here. And I'm not going to go through all of them because there's a ton, but they've got the bottom, you want to get 6 packs, kind of pick and choose which sizes, $13. $21 gets you 10. $28 gets you 14, etc. We come all the way to the bottom here to a 300 pack pledge. $350 gets you over 16,000 sleeves. And for some people, you're like, that is more sleeves than I will need in a lifetime. Others, probably like myself, might say, oh, that'll last me 6 months. So interesting. Comes to a little bit more than a buck a pack, which is pretty solid. So I would like to maybe jump in on this, but not knowing how consistent that sleeve sizing is going to be is kind of a little worrisome to me. So I'm holding off for now. I'd love maybe if this got into the hands of some third-party reviewers. Hey, Dukes of Dice might be willing to do that. I know that, for example, I've got a ton of people here in Albuquerque that we may drop $1,000 collectively on these if we knew. So just an interesting thing, something the Kickstarter creators might want to do, especially with something like this, is get your product in the hands of people that can boost that signal, so to speak. All right. Well, that does it for the Kickstarter. Let's jump into the board game March Madness with a spillover into April Armageddon. So I mentioned yesterday on the Monday episode that we're doing this thing over the next couple weeks. Basically, we are trying to figure out what the most anticipated game of 2017 is. Sorry, Gloomhaven, you came out too early. We're going to run this through a bracket system. We had 25, 30 different board games that we put out on a Google form, set a link out for people to go vote and rank which are the 6 that they were most excited about. From that, we have now a top 16 with seeding. So I'll put the full ranking in the show notes, but basically we've got the number 1 seed Charterstone. Number 2 seed was, I'm totally blanking, I can't find it on this list. Anyway, I'll put it in the show notes so you can see the full ranking here. But what we're going to do is, for the next 4 days, we're going to do 2 matchups at a time. That will get us through round 1. And I'm going to have you vote in the show notes, vote in the comments below for each matchup who you'd like to see go on to the next round. So that's how we'll go and do that. So let's look at our first matchup, the number 1 seed Charterstone versus the number 16 seed Legend of the Five Rings. Charterstone is from Stonemaier Games. It is a competitive legacy game that is also worker placement. So kind of taking legacy down a different path here. And you are collectively building this shared village. You're going to be adding stickers to the board, doing all sorts of legacy-ish things to mess around with it. And it's going to play over 12 games. And the cool thing here is at the end of it, you're going to have a fully playable game. And your fully playable game is going to be different from someone else's fully playable game when they're done, which is really interesting. So very excited to see what Jamie Stegmaier has in store for us. I'm always impressed with Stonemaier's production, and he's one of my favorite designers. So this is, I think, a number 1 seed for a reason. All right. Legend of the Five Rings, little Chewy action upstairs. Legend of the Five Rings, this is the new card game from Fantasy Flight Games coming out in August, although it's based on the original CCG that came out in like 95. Very excited for this. I've played this off and on since it first came out in 95. This is a competitive card game where you are building up a deck. You're actually building up 2 decks, your clan deck and your dynasty deck. Your clan deck is based around different clans. There's the lion and the scorpion. There may or may not be the spider and the mantis. There are some others that have kind of come in and out of the lore. And they all do something a little bit different. So one clan may be better at politics. One may be better at warfare. One may be better at deception and subterfuge, things like that. So they play out very differently. And what you're typically trying to do is eliminate your opponent's 4 strongholds, although there's also honor victories and dishonor losses that can happen. So a lot going on with this game. Very excited for this. The art, as you can see, is gorgeous. The gameplay is fantastic. So let me just say this. These 2 are probably my 2 most anticipated games of 2017. And the fact that they're going head-to-head, the first matchup, round 1, number 1 seed, number 16 seed, it's a little heartbreaking for me to see one of these games go away. I will say that originally we didn't have L5R on the list of games. And then listener Jesse Metcalf was like, hey, totally forgot something. I'm like, oh man, glad you mentioned that. So it got added on. Might have missed out on a couple votes. Could have been a higher seed. Maybe could have survived. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. But here's what I want you to do. Go into the comments below. Type in either Charterstone, that's it, or Legend of the Five Rings, L5R, either one of those. Vote who you think should advance from this round 1 to the next round. All right. Second matchup is Yokohama, which is the number 6 seed, versus Tiny Epic Quest, the number 11 seed. So Yokohama is from Tasty Minstrel Games, being brought over by them, designed by Hisashi Hayashi. Fantastic designer. I got a chance to play this game at Dice Tower Con last summer, the old version. It is great. Basically, it's a spatial action selection game. Think like Istanbul or The Colonist, but really kind of falls in between those 2 in terms of complexity. Colonist is more complex, Istanbul's a little bit less, and Yokohama somewhere in the middle. And this takes place during the Emperor Meiji period, where Japan is kind of industrializing. It's learning about shipping out to foreign nations and things like that. There is a ton going on with this game. It is a brain burner. It is fantastic. All right, number 11 seed, Tiny Epic Quest. This is from Gameling Games, designed by Scott Alms. In this game, which is a continuation of their Tiny Epic series, you are playing as these elf heroes in this kind of adventure-style game. Kind of think of a port of an NES adventure game, maybe Legend of Zelda. And here you are trying to go out, get new equipment, find artifacts, go on these different quests. There's a push your luck element here. Your goal is to either defeat all the goblins or close the portal, which has created havoc on this peaceful, tranquil world of yours. Very interesting. It has these item meeples, which are these little meeples with holes in them, so you can put little equipment in them, which is really cool, really neat. I think I may have mentioned I kickstarted both of these games. So once again, I'm happy to see either of these advance, although I think I know who I'm going to vote for, but I won't say. So once again, let's vote in the comments below. You can type in either Yokohama or Tiny Epic Quest, and let's be sure to vote for both of these matchups. I'm excited to see. Tomorrow, I will go ahead and reveal the results, in addition to talking about the next two matchups. Now, aside from just having some fun, there is going to be a promotional contest tied in with this. I apologize, I do not have the details worked out yet. I hope to by tomorrow, but basically there will be a pretty sweet game giveaway with this. So every day that you vote, every day that you put a YouTube comment in on one of these videos, I will add you to the pool, to the random drawing that we'll do at the end of all this. So even though the details aren't hammered out yet, definitely please vote. I'd love to see kind of how this pans out, see if we can get a bunch of people voting and generate some excitement for this. Should be pretty cool. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for our Tuesday, March 28th Dukes of Dice Daily. Be sure to vote below and be sure to check in tomorrow for the results. Till next time, this is Sean, and I'll catch you later.